Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, and welcome back to the baseball hut. Hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. Before we get into this video, we have memberships on this channel. You'll see the join button on the side here. Please, of course, take the time to look at it. I have a video that's already been recorded. I got to edit it. I think you'll like. It's only for members. Not for anybody else. It's only for members. I also have another big video coming out, which I recorded last night, at least part of it. It's a very interesting video. And if you are a member, you saw the thumbnail that I have for it. A rough thumbnail. I might change it. I might tweak it. But that's something you need to subscribe to. You need to join the membership to see what I'm trying to do here. There's not one video of it on this platform, on YouTube. As far as I know, maybe I missed it, but I checked last night. It was an idea I came up with, and I think people are really going to like it. People are really going to love it. So let me get into this video, and this is about the Mets and their trade deadline plans, what they wanted to do. One of the things the Mets wanted to do, and this rumor came out yesterday, and I did a video on yesterday, was how the Mets were trying to get a big pitcher. Either be Jack Flaherty, who went to the Dodgers, Garrett Crochet, who stayed in Chicago, or Blake Snell, who stayed in San Francisco. None of those guys got moved. Those last two guys did not get moved. And the Dodgers obviously picked up Flaherty. But one of the things that was talked about is how the Mets, and this is from an article from SI.com, there was a lot of interest in a couple of Met prospects, one of which is a pitcher. Headline, Mets had significant trade interest in top prospect, according to an insider. It sounds like one of Mets' top prospects had plenty of trade interest. The New York Mets were extremely active ahead of the 2024 Major League Baseball trade deadline. New York filled multiple roster holes and now is in great position to fight for a playoff spot down the stretch. Mets currently are a half game out of a National League wildcard spot right now, but have talent all throughout the roster. Mets are an exciting team to watch right now and had a great deadline. While this is the case, there could have been even more waves and more moves being made. Other teams reportedly showed significant interest in acquiring former top prospect Brett Baty, but we'll talk about him in a different video. The Mets checked on, and it's from John Heyman, the Mets checked on big relief stars Tanner Scott, Carlos Estevez, Pete Fairbanks, Kyle Finnegan, and those, but understandably did want to mortgage the future, while barely in wildcard position, Heyman said. Mets made sure to keep top prospects Jeff Williams, Drew Gilbert, Ryan Clifford, Luis Angel Acuna, Blade Tidwell, Brandon Sproat, and others. The 100-mile-per-hour Sproat is a late call up candidate, especially the bullpen remains an issue. Now, the one thing about him, he might not necessarily have an innings limit on him because he pitched 4 years at Florida. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, I believe he pitched 120 innings for the Florida team last year. His last year was his fourth year, like I said. So he might not have nearly as restrictive an innings limit on him as other young pitchers do. Like Christian Scott has a strict innings limit on him right now, even though he's not pitching because he's injured. He did not have that. He had that innings limit on him. And obviously, some of these other Met prospects that are in the minors probably have more of a strict innings limit than, say, other pitchers do. I would also point out, as an example, is Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens, I think, pitched 130 innings, 140 innings last year in his last year in LSU. And even though the Pirates have been babying him, especially early on, with the innings limit, I don't think he has an innings limit traditionally like other pitchers do. He's basically was, but so Sprout might be a different situation. Now, if the Mets were to call him up, it would be interesting to see how he's able to make that jump from Double-A to here. I would assume that they'd have to call him up, promote him to Triple-A, and then send him to, and eventually come up here in September. That's a thought. I don't know if you would start him. You'd probably have him out of the bullpen just to hold on to those innings limit. But how that would work, just in terms, you got a young pitcher who's 22 years old, 23 years old. How's he handling being able to pitch back-to-back days, and when he's had this routine of pitching in the in rotation for 4 months? But that is interesting that he is emerged as a big pitcher, a big prospect with the Mets. I believe that just reading some of the things that I've read about him, the biggest issue he has is because I read his scouting report yesterday from MLB.com. If there's an issue with him, is his command issues, that he has difficulty commanding his pitches. And he has to find a way not to fall behind in counts and walk batters, which seems to be the issue with a lot of pitchers. But if that is an issue, then there's no reason to call him up and to put him in the bullpen, because you can't have another guy in his bullpen walking batters. Just to bring up a young player to see him play, does he make your team better? I don't know. Now, I haven't seen him other than that spring breakout game that we saw in March, but just because you bring a player up does not necessarily mean he's going to help you win right away. So just keep that in mind with any prospect. But he's probably the most likeliest guy that we get a call up. Pitchers are easy to call up and send down or whatever than a position player. I do not expect Luis Angel Acuna here, because he has played so poorly other than for 1 month. It's just not worth calling him up. He might not be ready, or he just might not be a major league caliber player. I don't know yet. He is an unknown in my opinion. Drew Gilbert's a different story. He has to play. If he plays, he's going to play well. But Luis Angel Acuna is a different story. I don't know where his development is. His on-base percentage isn't very good. His slugging percentage is not good at all. His OPS plus, which is those two numbers added, is under 700. Way below 700. And he had it over 700 in the month of June, and it basically has collapsed in the month of July. So we're now in August. We'll keep an eye on him in particular, because he has to show consistency and be a contributing factor every day with every at-bat that he makes and hits and gets into the box. So thank you for watching this video. Again, we have memberships here. Check out the join button over here. And of course, thank you for watching. Have a good day. I'll see you later.